Eventually, did you enter into a cooperation agreement with the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I think, the 24th of, was it like April?
Prior to entering the agreement, had you met with the DA's office a number of times?
Yes.
And are you testifying at this trial pursuant to this cooperation agreement with the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Before you entered into a cooperation agreement, did you meet with representatives of the New York County District Attorney's Office, including myself, on many occasions?
Yes.
And
With my lawyer, John.
And during those meetings, were you asked about crimes you have committed, both charged and uncharged?
Yes.
Did you tell the district attorney's office about these crimes?
Yes.
Back on July 24, 2003, did you possess a gun?
Yes.
Were you arrested for the possession of that gun?
Yes.
Was that gun in your car?
Yes.
Were you convicted for the possession of that gun?
Yeah, I was convicted. I think I took a plea deal where I had like youthful, or I completed a program. So does that count as a conviction?
After you completed the program, was that case then dismissed and sealed?
Yes.
And you told the district attorney's office about that dismissed and sealed case, right?
Yes, I did.
Have you driven with a suspended license?
Yes.
Did you do that on more than one occasion between 2005 and 2009?
Yes, I did.
During that time period, had you been arrested for driving with a suspended license?
Yes.
Did you have to pay a fine
Yeah, a few times.
and clear up your license?
Yeah.
How about fights? Did you admit to being in numerous fights during your childhood and adult life?
Yes, several.
Did you also admit to selling drugs?
Yes.
Approximately when did you sell drugs?
I sell drugs probably like a little bit when I got laid off from the phone company. So I don't know what year that was, maybe in early 2000s. And then I started in doing music. And then when the music didn't work out, I thought it would. Then I got more heavily into selling drugs. And then up until, I don't know, maybe 2013 when the music actually started working for me.
And when you say you got more into selling drugs or more heavily into selling drugs, what type of quantity would you be selling?
I was selling kilos of coke,
And
cocaine.
would you sell the entire kilo? Would you break it down?
Depends if a kilo is 1,000 grams. I might sell 250 grams if that's how much money they had. So I would do both, break it down and sell kilos.
What led you to stop selling drugs?
Because the music became successful and there was also a means to the end. Drugs was never the end, that's a dead end.
Did you take drugs?
No, I don't use drugs anymore, maybe some weed here and there, but
In 2007, did you possess an air gun and a BB gun?
yeah,
And did you admit to these things, to the possessing of guns as well as real guns, when you came in to discuss with the district attorney's office during those meetings?
yes I did,
Have you fired real guns?
yes,
Were you involved in a shootout on July 19th, 2000?
yes I was,
Did you fire a gun?
yes,
Did you hit anyone?
no,
Were people also firing at you?
yes,
Were you hit?
yes,
Were there other times that you fired a gun?
yes.
What scenarios?
New Year's Eve, shooting off a roof, that's really it, like, gun ranges if that counts.
Were there other times prior to May 25th, 2016 that you possessed guns?
Prior to. One more time.
Prior to May 25th, 2016.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me finish my question before you answer.
Okay.
Did you also admit to being part of a gang at one point?
Yes.
What gang?
Crips.
When were you a member approximately?
When I was a kid, like 16 or like 15 to maybe like 18,
How did you become a member? How did that come about?
my friends was into it, a bunch of my friends, so just affiliated. And they knew I was a cool guy, so like we was all friends. So my friends was part of it, so just being a follower, just end up being in a gang.
What type of things did you do as a gang member?
Well, gang life is really boring. You hang out, you might hold down a block or hold down a hood. That means nobody can come in your neighborhood. Or a lot of fighting, not really much. Meetings, gang meetings.
Did you ever rip off other drug dealers?
Yes, we robbed drug dealers,
And
but like small-time drug, nothing really.
are you currently a member?
No,
Relating to this case, were you charged under indictment 2503 of 2016 with attempted murder in the second degree and 4 counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree in connection with the incident at Irving Plaza on May 25th, 2016?
yes, I was.
When were you arrested for those charges?
Immediately after, like the day after.
And we will get into facts in a bit, but were you charged for your conduct that occurred outside the VIP room at Irving Plaza concert venue and for the possession of the guns that were found in your van?
Yes.
Was what happened outside the VIP room the entirety of the incident that occurred at Irving Plaza on May 25th, 2016?
No, absolutely not. Sorry.
Let me finish. Where did other portions of that incident happen?
Inside the first VIP room.
Were you shot during that incident?
Yes.
Where were you shot?
I was shot in both my leg.
Where physically within Irving Plaza were you shot?
I was shot inside the VIP room.
Were you ever charged with anything that happened inside the VIP room?
No.
When you were first arrested, did you have bail set?
They wouldn't give me bail. I think it's called remand.
Were you incarcerated?
Yes.
For how long?
Almost 2 months.
During those almost 2 months, did you speak to the district attorney's office about what occurred inside that VIP room or green room?
No.
And what was the reason you did not speak?
This was like a unique situation. Never been through this before. There was nobody other than my lawyer to advise me on how to go about it. And I didn't know if it was a street thing. I didn't know, more hush hush and quiet. I didn't know if it was an internet thing where it's more public. And I didn't know. I didn't know how to handle that situation. I had nothing to reference it.
On July 11th, 2016, did the district attorney's office agree to recommend a bail package relating to your case?
Yes.
Who made the final determination about bail?
The judge, I believe.
Did the judge set $500,000 bail and required to get an ankle monitor and not leave the confines of New York City, not perform or go to a concert venue? I'm going to object to the leading, overruled, not perform or go to a concert venue, and give you an 11 p.m. curfew.
Yes.
Did you post that bail?
Yes, absolutely.
Were you then released on those conditions?
Yes.
When were you released?
July 11, I believe. The day they gave me the bail conditions. I left that day.
After your release on July 11th, 2016, and throughout the fall of 2016, did you meet with the district attorney's office?
After my release and throughout the fall?
Yes.
No.
Did you occasionally, during that time period, violate your bail conditions?
Yes.
And in what types of ways?
I stayed out late, past 11 p.m. curfew before. That's all I can really think of.
And in February of 2017, were your bail conditions modified?
Yes.
And what were you now permitted to do?
Travel, perform, earn a living.
And in being able to do that, did you have to notify the district attorney's office if you were leaving New York City?
Yes.
And did you have to notify the district attorney's office if you were performing somewhere?
Yes.
Did you also have to have licensed armed security?
Yes, absolutely.
Were these changes in your bail conditions after your first meeting with the district attorney's office?
No, I don't think so. Is it something that you can
We will come back to that.
Okay.
Did the district attorney's office agree to those modifications?
Yes.
And did the judge then set these modifications?
Yes.
And in the spring of 2017, were you permitted to remove your ankle bracelet as a further modification of your bail?
Yes.
After you were permitted to perform, did you occasionally violate your bail conditions by performing out of town without first notifying the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Did you also go out of the country to the Dominican Republic for a couple of days in violation of your bail conditions?
Yes.
Now, you just referenced that you met with the district attorney's office in February of 2017. Can you describe for the jury the reason you changed your mind and decided to meet with the district attorney's office?
By that time, I had enough of people to talk and consult with, from my legal team to my pastor to my rabbi neighbor to friends from the street, even ex-convicts, everyone, just people who loved me, people who didn't really care for me. And the overall consensus was this is not a street thing. It's not where you came from, it's not where you at, and it's not where you are going. And, silly as it sounds, where we from, you don't really deal with the police or we don't engage with them much. So just between that and then it was constantly antagonizing from, I don't know if you call him the defendant or whatever, constantly antagonizing online still after I sat down and just held it down.
Did the first meeting take place on February 8, 2017?
Yes.
If you recall?
Yes.
Eventually, did you enter into a cooperation agreement with the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I think, the 24th of, was it April?
Prior to entering the agreement, had you met with the DA's office a number of times?
Yes.
And are you testifying at this trial pursuant to this cooperation agreement with the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Is that agreement written?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as People's 279. No objection. For identification, whereupon the court officer is handing the witness the above mentioned item. Thank you. Do you recognize what has been handed to you?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize it to be?
The memorandum agreement.
And that's the cooperation agreement that you entered into with the district attorney's office.
Yes.
And does it contain your signature?
Yes.
Does it contain your attorney's signature?
Yes.
Has it been altered in any way from when you entered into that agreement?
No, not from what I can see.
Your Honor, at this time, I would seek to admit what's been marked as People's 279 for identification as 279 in evidence. Mr. Montgomery, you have already said you have no objection, correct? No objection, correct. 279 is admitted. Can you again tell the jury what date you entered into the cooperation agreement?